Hello and welcome to the Arlington Weekly News. I'm Daniel Pineda.
I'm Miriam Gennari.
Rich Masabny.
And we have a great show today. We have our news stories, Nortz Beckerman and his Brain Healthy Minute, CBB, Rich, and your reviews. Hey Rich, how are you?
I'm ready.
And then we go to our senior stories, and then you have an interview with Walter Tejada.
Absolutely, it should be great.
And Arlington Weekly News is available at youtube.com/Arlington Weekly News and the number 1. And you can also visit us on facebook.com/Arlington Weekly News. Well, now on to our very first news story of the night. Arlington County Manager Barbara Donnellan says she and her staff will be evaluating several county facilities for possible changes or closures next year. Among the facilities expected to be evaluated are the Artisphere, 2 community centers, and 2 Department of Human Service facilities. The community centers being looked at have not been identified. Miriam.
Thanks, Daniel. Tax hikes are also part of Donnellan's recommended changes. Donnellan's budget proposes a 3.2% tax hike. If that increase is approved, it would bring the overall residential property tax rate slightly over $1 for every $100 assessed in value. That represents an annual tax increase of about $262 for the average homeowner. That and other modest fee increases will bring Arlington an additional $13 million in revenue. Daniel?
Well, this dramatic design for Ashlawn Elementary School's upcoming renovations were approved by the Arlington School Board last week. The work will expand the school's capacity from 469 students to around 684 students. Additions include a 3-story building with up to 9 additional classrooms, a new media center, and a renovated multi-purpose room. There will also be an administrative suite and music and art classrooms. Details of the project are available at the link on the screen and are posted on Facebook.
Thank you. The average advanced placement exam score for Arlington Public School students edged up from 2.88 in 2011 to 2.89 last year. This increase still represents a drop from 2010, where the average for APS students was 3.08. The national average is 2.83. These averages are calculated on a 5-point scale, with 5 being the best possible score. Not bad.
Not bad at all, right. Well, now let's continue on to our news stories. Arlington Public Schools provide a variety of summer programs for students in grades pre-K through 12. While most classes for elementary and middle school students run from July the 8th through August the 8th, and from July 8th through August the 16th for high school students. Registration for APS 2013 summer school courses begins on Thursday, that's March the 7th. A registration fee and any applicable tuition are due at the time of registration. The summer programs are explained in the summer school catalog. The catalog is available online at apsva.us/page/16892. Miriam.
And now some wonderful news for Arlington's public school students. Wakefield High School student Dominique Piper Lopez and Johnny Maldonado have been selected to sing in the All Virginia Chorus. Lopez Piper was selected as soprano 1 and Maldonado was selected as bass 1. Yorktown High School senior Ann Lacey and Washington Lee School High School junior Sterling Webster were selected as alternates. The students were selected to participate in the All-District Chorus in February and were eligible for audition for our All Virginia Chorus February 7th at Oakton High School. There were approximately 250 students who auditioned. Only 12 students were chosen for the All Virginia Chorus.
Absolutely, and congratulations goes out.
Absolutely.
250 students auditioned and only 12 were selected. Wow.
Outstanding.
Well, the Northern Virginia Senior Olympics plans to add rowing and handball to its 2013 roster. This brings the number of activities to be offered at the event this fall to 50. Registration forms for the NOVA Senior Olympics will be available in mid-June. For more information, call 703-228-4721, or you can also visit nvso.us. Miriam.
And now for an interesting news story, Daniel. You may have noticed that Arlington Memorial Bridge was closed for a few hours beginning a little after 9 p.m. on Sunday, February 24th. A man was heading east along the bridge towards the Lincoln Memorial when his SUV careened into the curb and then over a barrier and off the bridge into the Potomac River. The driver of the vehicle was found sitting on the shoreline where police arrived, and he was charged with reckless driving. Sounds like this gentleman could use some time with Nort Beckerman. And now for Nort Beckerman's Brain Healthy Minute.
Hi, I'm Nort Beckerman, the brain health coach. Supposedly, only older people need to worry about their cognitive abilities. That's not true. Cognitive ability only becomes an issue later in life because we notice it, and because we're even taught that aging causes a decline in cognitive ability. The brain is the control center of the brain-body system. Nothing happens without the brain. The brain is guided by the physical laws of neurogenesis and neuroplasticity, and the brain functions according to well-defined rules. These dictate the internal structure and behavior of your brain from the moment you're born to the moment you die. The law of neurogenesis governs cell generation. The human brain is generating new brain cells from the moment you're born to the moment you die. But only those cells, new or old, that are being used continue to live. New brain cells continue to live when they are used to process new information. Old brain cells are pruned off when they are no longer being used to process information. This is true at any age. What we do at different ages seems to dictate when we keep brain cells and when we lose them. Aging begins when we are losing more brain cells than we are keeping. I'm Nort Beckerman, the Brain Health Coach. I'll see you next time for a Brain Healthy Moment.
Thank you, Nort. Great report. And now back to the news. Daniel?
That's right, Miriam. The Art for Humanity needs help creating graphics that they can use on their website. Most of the volunteer work would be done virtually with an occasional face-to-face meeting. The site address is on the screen. Miriam.
Thank you, Daniel. Educación para nuestro futuro,
Buen trabajo, buen trabajo.
means education for our future and is known as EduFuturo. They need a volunteer bartender and photographer at their second annual gala talent show, which will be held Wednesday, May 8th, 2013, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The event will take place at the Artisphere in Arlington, Virginia. The bartender will serve non-alcoholic and alcoholic drinks during the event, set up the bar, and serve beverages in conjunction with the caterer. The volunteer will also have to check wristbands of the guests requesting adult beverages, so you're going to get carded. Contact the photographer and the responsibility for taking photographs. If you are interested in either of these volunteer opportunities, call 703-228-2560 for more information. So a bartender and a photographer.
Buen trabajo.
Gracias.
Great Spanish right there, Miriam. You can also help EduFuturos build a future of excellence for Latino youth this spring with EduFuturos Emerging Leaders Program, ELP. Since 2006, EduFuturo has provided the Emerging Leaders Program, empowering more than 70-plus youth each year. And the volunteer mentor will help the youth contemplate college, apply for scholarships, and submit college applications. The program is also designed to help students develop their public speaking and writing skills. Give them a call at 703-228-2560 for more information.
And now for some more volunteer and intern positions. The Arlington Historical Society has some positions that they would like to fill. And so Arlington's Historical Society is seeking volunteers for public relations and event planning, program planning, database management, writing and editing, as well as curatorial skills.
Yes, curatorial, yep.
Volunteers are needed to serve, one as a volunteer docent at the historical house, and two greeters to greet visitors, lead tours at the house and on the grounds. An open house and the house is open from April through October each year. Daniel?
Well, thank you, Miriam. Communities and Schools seeks volunteers to serve as the primary support for their national office's human resources and office administration team. Main responsibilities will be to greet and attend to all the communities in school visitors, clients, and applicants. Field and direct all general inquiries to the appropriate persons' departments, and help all candidates for employment and internships. If you are interested in helping out, contact 703-518-2587 for more information. And now we go to our own Rich Masabny for his reviews. Hey, Rich, how are you?
Thank you, people.
Good to see you,
Thank you
Rich.
so much.
Thank you. The Baltimore Symphony Orchestra's Pops Group, under the direction of nice guy Jack Everly, played last Thursday at Strathmore with like a 125-piece orchestra, and they had somebody I didn't know before, but seemed everybody else did. Ashley Brown, did you know her? She was on Broadway. She was the original Mary Poppins, and and she was on the record, the Disney show. Anyway, the symphony was absolutely wonderful. They did stuff from Broadway. They did from Wicked, Chicago, Kiss Me Kate. It was just wonderful. I just want to give you a clue that the next BSO shows at the Strathmore is the Best of Bond, which is in April 11th, and then the Magic of Motown on May 30th. They're wonderful. The phone number, in case you want to call for anything, is 410-783-8100, and check the website as bsomusic.org. There was a picture of that pretty gal there. She's crazy about me, by the way. The Little Theater of Alexandria, LTA, has Dial M for Murder. Does anybody old enough around here? I know Cam Pippett is, and Bill, with Ray Milland. Yeah, right, Ray Milland and Grace Kelly. Well, anyway, LTA does a darn good job of it. Richard Isaacs and Jenny Patton play the leads there. And it's like a perfect murder kind of thing. He wants to knock off his wife, have some guy he knows to do something, to strangle her, to tell you the truth. Well, things didn't work out right, and they never do generally, and that's maybe a good thing. Anyway, Dial M for Murder runs through March 16 at LTA, and you can call them at 703-683-0496. Check the website, thelittletheater.com. That was a good show, real good. And a powerful play at Theater J. You know where that is on? I do. Okay, really, they do on 16th Street. I'm talking about David Mamet's show Race. The story's about a middle-aged white man, Charles, played by Leo Erickson. He's charged with raping a black woman. The two law partners, one is black, one is white. They're in conflict a lot about things, and they got a black, young, sharp assistant named Susan, played by Krishanda Edwards, take on the case to represent this white guy. So anyway, it's 80 minutes without intermission, and the audience, frankly, is just riveted. I never seen nobody coughing, nobody anything, nobody breathing even. A race runs through March 17 at Theater J on 16th Street. Call 202-777-3210 or check the website, theaterj.org. Another great group you don't hear enough about is the In Series. Carla Ubla is the head woman there. They're doing a show at the Source Theater at 14th and T called Berlin to Broadway with Kurt Weill. But nobody does European cabaret reviews like Carla. She's been doing it now 30 years. The current musical production, Berlin to Broadway with Kurt Weill, is up there on 14th Street, as I said. It starts in the 1920s and follows Kurt Weill's life till he moves in 1937 to New York City. Remember, the Nazis were moving into Germany at that time. There are 6 talented acting singers. Sally Martin, I interviewed her here years ago. Ashley Ivy, Steve Lebens, Alexandra Lynn, Karen O'Connell, and Jose Parker. There's also a terrific musical good trio. I mean, they're terrific. A pianist, Paul Levitt, and Ephraim Wolfach on the bass, and Paul Arabold, that's right, on accordion. Anyway, these guys in the show is just wonderful. They did stuff from Brecht and Gershwin and Maxwell Anderson. This now will play through March 10 up at the Source there. Call 202-204-7763 for information. Check the website. It's the In series. And then what would I be without doing something on restaurants? Well, right in our backyard, sort of on Route 50 there, Arlington Boulevard, actually at 1st Street there in that shopping center. The Outback. I haven't been there in years. Have you been there? I haven't been there in years.
Outback?
Yeah, I haven't been there in years.
Not in years. Yeah, me too.
But they still got that bloomin' onion.
I love that.
Don't you like that,
I love
Bill?
that.
The bloomin' onion, yeah. And I couldn't wait to get that, you know. And
It's delicious.
it was just wonderful. But they have everything. I got a menu. It's everything you'd ever want to see, you know. I mean, they have a prime rib thing, which is wonderful, and ribeye, and oh God,
wanna know
and
about their
seafood,
takeout.
and they got beer. They got almost everything you want. Just wonderful. I liked it, and it's like coming back home, you know. Real nice. Anyway, I brought back good memories, and they got nice people there too. I got to plug them, you know. Robert Veal, V-E-A-L-E, is a managing partner, and Nelson Figueroa, he's a manager there too, and they're all real nice. And that was the last time I ever met a guy who comes from Brooklyn, New York, from Bay Ridge, where I'm from, and it was, you know, brought back wonderful memories, you know, of 50 years ago. Anyway, there's phone number here. It's 703-527-0063. You can look them up under www.outback.com.
How many W's?
I think there's 8 of them, you know.
Rich, we keep on saying that
affordable
you need to
meals.
bring us some food. I mean, we're hungry.
I know, and I always say I will, but I will.
We'll check them. We'll check them out at the Outback.
Yeah, we have to go there, right?
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Rich, for those reviews. Let's go on to our senior stories for the week. There will be a free presentation discussing continuing care retirement communities, or CCRCs, at Lee Senior Center on Tuesday. That's March the 5th at 1 p.m. Meredith McKay, an attorney with Legal Services of Northern Virginia, will explain the differences between the 3 basic types of CCRC contracts and the differences between CCRCs and retirement communities. Call 703-228-055 for more information.
And now, more fun. A representative from Microsoft's store in Pentagon City Mall will be at the Walter Reed's Community Center on Tuesday, March 5th at 7 p.m. to give a free demonstration and explanation about how to use controller-free gaming, a device with Xbox Connects. This is an electronic exercise in which the programs and individuals will respond to their individual movements. Call 703-228-0955 to sign up. Sounds like fun. Daniel?
Yeah, it does seem like fun. Exactly. You should try, Mary.
Not me.
Well, by now, almost everyone is familiar with terms such as internet, searching, or Googling. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, Aurora Hills librarian Sarah Davilo will discuss the finger pointing of finding information on the internet. She will meet with seniors on Wednesday, that's March the 6th, at 10 a.m. for this free presentation. Space is limited, so call them early to register. Their number is 703-228-5722.
And now a wonderful program, Paintings, from the collection of Dr. Albert Barnes, a famous scientist, businessman, and author, art collector, and founder of the Barnes Foundation Museum, will be discussed by Joan Hart, the foundation of Museum One. Barnes, who died in the early 50s, kept paintings from famous French artists, including Renoir, Cézanne, Matisse. To learn more about the history of the collection, call 703-228-5722 to register. The event is on Monday, March the 11th at 1 p.m. at the Aurora Hills Senior Center. Attendance does cost $6. Daniel?
Well, the Northern Virginia Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program needs volunteers. Kathy Jones, a representative from the program, will meet with interested seniors and others to describe the program and how they can get involved. This free event is on Wednesday. That's March the 6th at 1:30 p.m. at Aurora Hills Senior Center. Call 703-228-5722 to register. And again, we want to thank our own Judy Masomny for helping us out with this week's stories. Thank you so much, Judy, for really her hard work and dedication to the program. Miriam?
Indeed, Daniel, absolutely, and lots of fun events. But now I'd like to take you to an interview that I did with Chairman of the Arlington County Board, Walter Tejada, as we discussed issues regarding sustainability here in Arlington. Thank you. And now I'd like to welcome Chairman of the Arlington County Board, Walter Tejada. Thanks for being with us, Walter.
Thanks for inviting me, Miriam.
You've been on the Arlington County Board since 2003. You've led lots of initiatives, but particularly in urban planning and community engagement. In fact, you speak around the country on those issues. What are some of your initiatives going to do to help make Arlington a sustainable community?
Sure, no, excellent question. Now, in Arlington, we like to think that sustainability is part of our culture in many areas, whether it's energy, whether it's housing, whether it's connecting to fitness, promoting our culture of fitness here. So this year we're working on several things that are really important in that angle. Affordable housing is an important angle, and for all of us in the community, affordability for people from all ranges of incomes, as well as we want people to stay in Arlington. So we
even senior citizens,
senior
right?
Senior citizens, that's right. We are very inclusive in Arlington. We're also looking at an urban agriculture initiative this year, where we have had a task force working for about a year now. And they're going to come back with some recommendations in March of this year, or a little bit later, if additional time is needed, in which we're looking to expand either community gardens, green roofs, or create more options for people to be able to exercise their agricultural skills. They may have maybe backyard sharing. We're looking eventually also to develop a Arlington-specific food plan, so that there's accessibility and affordability of food, because sometimes when they talk about farmers market or organic food, it might be expensive food actually, and may not be accessible to some people. So we want to look at some ways in which an entire community can have access to healthy food, because we are promoting a culture of fitness and we want folks to eat well, and also to develop maybe opportunities in their schools, or maybe in their place where they work, or maybe place of worship, where there may be a plot that they can be turned into cherry tomatoes, or some kind of fruit of some sort, depending on the season, so that we, in the end, it's again connecting to our sustainability. So it's the scoop of the sustainability.
Absolutely. Well, I think one of the things that we're both very passionate about is making sure that children eat healthy, nutritious food, and if they're growing that food, then certainly they're more likely to make good choices.
Absolutely. In fact, we launched this year in the Arlington Community Center in January our childhood obesity campaign, combating childhood obesity, healthy eating healthy habits campaign. I'm calling it the Moving Forward Together campaign, in which we cannot take things for granted, and we also can't just wag our fingers at kids and say, don't do this, don't do that. Instead, we also need to lead by example, show them, absolutely, kids, pay attention to what kind of things that we do, that we eat. And so this is a comprehensive effort that we'll be working together with the schools, a number of nonprofits that are experts on the subject of healthy eating, and want to make sure, for instance, that our recreational centers, public facilities, we change the vending options that are there, and that we have some healthy options. So when the kids are there, they're not just looking for a soda, but there might be a healthy option as well. So we want to make sure to have those.
And I think that's really wonderful how you focused on parks and recreation as a setting to subtly suggest positive things. And I think that the county government's been very good about subtly suggesting. Jay Fazette with the water bottles and getting that out of the county government, and your work getting cigarette butts off of our community parks, which we're very grateful for. So I read an article today that, that Vincent Gray is considering getting rid of single-use styrofoam in Washington, D.C., and I was wondering who on the county board is going to take the leadership role in reducing styrofoam from our waste stream.
Yeah, you know, sometimes we're envious sometimes of some of the authority the cities have, like New York City, for example, and other places where they're able to do more independent decisions, and we have to get General Assembly authority to be able to move and many of these things.
I did a little research. I did a little research on that, and I know one thing that could be done if there was the will was to eliminate that from county government. And like you said, leading by example, not purchasing those types of things, and getting vendors to make better choices. Do you think that that's a possibility?
Well, I think it's not off the realm of possibility in the future. I think that we start with different steps, you know, like I think people thought that we would not be able to prohibit smoking in certain places, you know, like restaurants and bars. We were able to succeed after a major effort. Believe me, we worked really hard with a lot of people and many organizations, the American Cancer Society and others. There are ways to go about it. We started out with a volunteer effort, an optional for people to say, you know, can you, little by little, more restaurants join in. And we're doing that also in other angles in our parks, as you mentioned, telling people, you know, not a great deal of smoke. So there are possibilities for down the line for styrofoams, I think, as we become more paperless, as we have trying to do that in county government. When we have our board meetings, we try to use less paper that we can. It's not always possible, but many times it is. So there's a possibility for down the line for styrofoams. We'll have to see.
Well, and that's wonderful to hear, because I know that you've made large steps.
I know it's a passion for you.
You've
been good at raising awareness about it. That's really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think that one of the things that I find probably the most important is that we reflect what we believe to our children, and in terms of things like recycling and being good stewards of the resources that we have. And you've got a lot of big decisions to make, things to do with the streetcar, things to do with affordable housing, how to manage density. So I just am very grateful that the work that you've done has taken sustainability under consideration.
Well, you know, the subject of density, I used to be against it when I first got to the board, and I began to learn a little more about urban planning, and actually it can be used to our advantage and make sure that we have the community benefits, better streets, better sidewalks, you know, new traffic signal, different things, art, sometimes affordable housing. So there are a number of good things that can happen out of density.
Well, I agree. We have to grow smartly, but we also have to grow, because Arlington County is a highly sought after location. So I thank you so much for being with us today, Mr. Todd. I hope you'll come back.
Sure. Thanks for inviting me. I
Wonderful.
look forward to being back another time.
Thank you. I'm Miriam Gennari. That's a Sustainable Scoop. Back to you in the studio, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Miriam, for that report with Walter Tejada. Such an interesting story and interview.
Indeed, and I'm looking forward to Mr. Tejada as chairman taking on some of these initiatives.
Well, that does it for another Arlington Weekly News edition here. Rich, do you have anything to say?
Good night.
Yeah, good night. You taped it away. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Daniel Pineda and the crew of Arlington Weekly News.
Thank you.